Hey, this is Creed with Defiant Fit. This whole video is about flat bench press with a barbell. It's going to be a little bit longer than most, and please stay in there and watch the whole thing. You're looking at a guy who's been doing this stuff. Wow, I'm not sure how long it's been. Hang on. Holy cow. 49 years. Yeah, that's terrible. That's just terrible. But it's true. Okay, so imagine me 35 years younger and 35 pounds bigger. I've been doing this stuff forever, and I am not kidding you. For the last 4 to 6 weeks, I have studied everything I could find on flat barbell bench press. My entire life, I have worked out doing that, typically with free weights, and these later years, some Smith machine stuff, which, by the way, I might guide you away from a little bit, at least for certain exercises. And my entire life, and I'm talking starting all the way back in junior high school, when I completely tore the whole front delt out, took years to rebuild it. My whole life, I've always done bench presses a certain way, and there's still people teaching to do it that way. I've come across people that have completely changed the way bench pressing is done, and I actually came up with 2 different versions that are diametrically opposed. And I think they're both good and outstanding, but completely different than everything I've done my whole life. So if you've ever had shoulder problems, and for me it's been lifelong, you know, the type thing, it would almost always hurt after a certain number of years. But even when I was younger, you know, 20s and 30s, you'd work out, and about every 2 to 3 months, man, all of a sudden you'd either get a sharp pain or you just couldn't move that shoulder for days or weeks. You know, you still did. You still went to the gym because you're an idiot. But you shouldn't have. If you've ever had shoulder problems working out, or if you'd like to never have shoulder problems working out, hang in there for this whole video. I'm honest. I'm just giving you what an old dog has learned in recent times, like this week. And I'm letting you know that I've done things very wrong for a very long time, and I'm trying to fix that stuff. And I've got nothing to sell you. I'm not selling a thing right here. And so there's no gimmicks. There's no sales pitch. I'm giving you an honest answer of what I've discovered. And I think it's going to change both your and my bench pressing lives. I'm not going to go as far as it's going to change our entire life. But as far as weightlifting, particularly bench pressing, watch the whole thing. It's going to take several minutes, but you're going to be really glad you did. First, let me say that I am not degrading anyone's workout technique whatsoever. I just want to point out what I have learned over the last couple of months, and I think it's just going to make a huge difference in your bench pressing lives. Expert number 1 bench presses the way I have always bench pressed for almost 50 years now. He's got a wide grip, his elbows flare out quite a bit, almost a 90-degree angle, and he comes down near the mid to upper part of his chest. And just take a look at the bar path that he uses. He also uses a very straight bar path, straight down, straight back up. I've done that forever, and I've blown out my shoulders so many times I just can't even count. So expert number 2 comes along, and she's kind of a power lifter predominantly. She puts a sizable arch in her back and introduces me to this idea of an arced bar path. Then expert number 3 comes along, and he seems to be a really smart young guy. Lets me know that benching in a straight motion, high on my chest, and without an arch in my back could destroy my shoulders. Yes, it has. He spends a good deal of time telling me how to get that proper arch in my back. And although his bar path isn't quite as extreme as what you see on the green line, it certainly is not a straight motion. So at this point, here's me trying to emulate the best advice that I've seen on how to arch your back without going crazy like a power lifter, and how to bring that bar path down in an arc, take it back up in an arc. And to be honest with you, what's happened is I need to come down lower on my chest when I use this method. And it's important that you have the hooks that you start from a bit lower. In other words, when you lift the bar off, you can't be stretching your arms out to grab it. You need to have it so your arms are slightly bent when you lift off that barbell. Otherwise, you lose that arch and that pinch in your shoulders, which is very important with this exercise. With all of that said about the new technique and style and motion that I'm using on my bench press, I do want to introduce you to expert number 4. He is the exact opposite of experts number 2 and 3 in that he uses an exact straight bar path. He comes to the very top of his chest. Here's the big difference. If you look at the pictures, he does not come down nearly all the way to his chest. He's several inches off. He moves in an extraordinarily slow motion, about 4 seconds down, sometimes 4 seconds up, squeezing with nothing but the chest muscles, and simply repeats that over and over. Now, I did his workout at the gym just a couple of weeks ago. I used a Smith machine and, to lock me in on that vertical motion, and I cut my weight in half and absolutely devastated my chest. I did 4 sets of 12 on flat, 4 sets of 12 on incline, and by the time I crawled over to do some flies, my chest was gone. So this does work. You use lighter weight, a shorter range of motion, and you almost levitate those weights with your chest muscles. Here's where I'm at on this thing. For the first style, where you've got the arced bar path coming all the way down to your chest, you've either got to use free weights or a Smith machine that has a full range of motion, like my home Smith machine. You can't do that on a regular Smith machine. It'll bind you up. You can't arc like you need to. For this option number 4, expert number 4, a Smith machine is excellent because your muscles are going to become so exhausted. You're going to be really happy that you've got that machine helping you to keep from shaking and trembling as you do this workout. My final word on flat barbell bench press, I'm going to alternate these 2 different workouts. I don't know which one I'm going to use predominantly. I might do, 2 of one, 1 of the other, vice versa. I'm just going to play with it. I love them both. I think they're both great. On the second version, where you're using the very straight bar coming down but not touching your chest, stop coming down the moment you feel a little bit of a pinch in your front shoulders and start levitating that weight back up with your chest. Hey, thanks for watching.